Well, let's take Billy the Kid, William
Uh-huh.
Bonney. He's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be a villain and an outlaw, right?
Right, supposed to be.
He was a hero to the Ninth Cavalry. What
Uh-huh.
he was doing is a lot of the people that got shot by William Bonney, aka Billy the Kid, were people that had beaten, shot, wounded, or killed a number of black soldiers.
So
By
Billy
the
Kid
way,
was wow, really? Wow.
by the way, the Defense Department's records even reveal this. There were more Ninth and 10th Cavalry Buffalo soldiers killed by the Texas Rangers than by Native Americans.
Wow.
So Brushy Bill's knowledge of the Lincoln County War and the life of Billy the Kid was too extensive, for him to have just read about it. For example, he knew that Colonel Dudley's soldiers that entered Lincoln on July 19th of 1878 were all black.
So what the guy in the previous video was stating is true. So during this standoff that the regulators were having with the Dudley gang, this is what happened, as it says. On Tuesday, Pippin asked Dudley to send aid, saying he was trying to serve warrants on several persons in the McSweden house. Dudley's reply was delivered by courier a few hours later. He refused to send soldiers to Lincoln County because of a congressional enactment in June prohibiting the use of the Army of Civil Affairs. Okay, so here we're going to read from The Fight in Lincoln County, New Mexico, 1878, the testimony of two Negro participants by authors Lee Scott Thiessen. So, to go off of what the man was talking about in the previous video, that was correct. Billy the Kid and the Regulators were facing off against the Dudley gang, or aka the Boys, in the Lincoln County War of 1878. And what he was talking about is just like during the confrontation, the standoff in the house. Let's go to it. About how when portion of the Dudley gang, Pippin, he had called for reinforcements of the military, who at the time happens to be was it Lieutenant or Colonel Dudley, who was in control of the 9th and 15th Cavalry, which was an all-black military that he brought in to basically to nullify the regulators. So basically, this is when Pippin, somebody from the Dudley gang, had called in reinforcements from Colonel Dudley of the 9th and 15th Cavalry, aka the Buffalo Soldiers. When Dudley's courier, Private Benjamin Robertson, returned from Lincoln, he reported that he had been fired upon and received a superficial wound. The following day, several officers came to the town to investigate the shooting. After interviewing Pippin's men and also McSweden, they concluded that McSweden participant had fired the shot. On Thursday, Pippin again requested aid, saying the terror-stricken Mexicans were asking for protection. Finally, Dolan went to the fort, and shortly thereafter, Dudley issued orders to move into town. The firing on his black messenger on Tuesday prompted this decision. At 10:30 a.m. on Friday, July 19th, Dudley and a detachment of 4 officers and 35 men drawn from the 15th Infantry and the 9th Cavalry fled into Lincoln. They brought a Gatling gun with 2,000 rounds of ammunition and a 12-pounder brass mountain howitzer, and 3 days of rations. Dudley halted his column in front of the Wardley Hotel and announced that he had came to protect women and children and not to take sides. So this is a whole nother rabbit hole to get into, but basically Dudley and the 9th and 15th Infantry and Cavalry, aka the Buffalo Soldiers, uh, were in all black military, except for Dudley, of course, who came in basically on the side of the Dudley gang to get the regulators out of that house. So essentially, it was Billy the Kid and Billy the Kid versus the Dudley gang and the Buffalo Soldiers. Now, as far as with Judge Joe Brown was talking about how Billy the Kid, most of the people that he had shot were Texas Rangers who were accused of shooting multiple black Buffalo Soldiers. I can't actually confirm that. I haven't found anything, but the Texas soldiers' racism towards Negroes is pretty well documented, even though I can't specifically say, or I can't find any accounts of them attacking or getting into it with Buffalo Soldiers, except for maybe one account in Texas. I can't speak too much on that because I've only heard of one account where the Texas Rangers, got into a shootout with the Buffalo Soldiers. So that's just that. I thought it was an interesting piece of history. So to say that Billy the Kid was a hero out for racial justice, no, I don't know. I highly doubt that it was that black and white. I mean, you had a couple of black people working with the regulators actually under McSweden, who were actually part of Billy the Kid's gang, and they fought against the Dudleys, against the Dudley boys and the 9th and 15th Cavalry, who were Buffalo soldiers. So it's not as simple as it's not as simple as black versus white or anything to make this a racial case, but just thought it was an interesting piece of history for people to know.